and welcome back. I'm sorry about the delay in getting a video out this week. It's been over 40 degrees in the shed a couple of days when I've been able to get in, and it was just way too hot for me to do any turning. Anyway, I thought, as promised, this week I would try a goblet. Never turned a goblet before. I'm just hoping that it won't be a Coventry goblet. Time will tell. But if it is, it is, and I'll show that. However, I'm going to try my best. I'm also going to try colouring it. It's sycamore, so it's a nice canvas, and I'm going to try and put some colour on it and try maybe a sunset style of thing. As we live around Morecambe Bay, sunsets are one of the main draws of the area. They're absolutely glorious, so it seems the obvious thing to try. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I don't have a spray gun, so I'm going to have to apply the colour by hand, and this is very much an experiment. I've never turned a goblet before. I've never put colour on anything before. I haven't had any practice. This is it, live. So well, as live as it's going to be, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. So here's a piece of wood. I've taken it to round, I've cut it to length, and I've put a tenon on the end of it and fitted it into my deep grip dovetail jaws, because I'm going to have to work at this end hollowing out without any additional support, so I need as much in here as I can possibly get. So what I need to do now is work out how the goblet's going to come together. What I've done first is just put a mark here, and that's where I'm going to part off the base. So this is the length of my goblet to that there, and I think the bowl wants to be around there, and the stem wants to come to about there, I think. Leaving this for the foot and this for the bowl. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just put a little bit of shape onto this, and then I'll work out the depth that I need and put a drill bit in the end just to give me a depth hole, and then hollow out the bowl and finish the inside of the bowl before I continue on the rest of the goblet. Okay, one of the biggest decisions, I guess, when you're doing a goblet must be the actual size and shape of the bowl compared to the rest of the piece. I don't want to take too much off here because I want this, the widest part of the bowl, to be about the same size as the foot for balance. I want that sort of egg-shaped bowl. I haven't taken too much off here yet because I need the weight while I'm hollowing out. So I think that's roughly the shape of the bowl. So what I'm going to do now is get set up and put a hole in here to the right depth. So now I have a good hole to start with. I'm now going to hollow out the bowl. What I'm going to do first is just put a mark around, just with a little detailing tool to work out where the width is going to be, and then I'm going to start hollowing it out. Right, so I'm just going to take out some of the weight very carefully. Good skew. As you know, I've developed a particular fondness for carbide tools. The biggest issue I have with carbide tools is also one of the things I like most about it. A very square stock, which means they're very strong, especially for doing something like hollowing out, because in this instance I can't get the rest inside the bowl of this. So going to the bottom, I'm extending quite a long way over the tool rest. The problem with that is that it's quite a large end, and when you're cutting up here rather than back here, which it would be on a conventional gouge, it can cause you issues with catching. So one of the tools I've got recently from Glen Teagle is this one, and it's the box hollower, and as you can see it's got quite a small tip on it, and it's got a chamfered shaft both at the back and at the sides, and that allows you to get right into the corners of boxes and small bowls, etc. It's absolutely ideal for the goblet. You'll have seen me using it a little bit earlier where there wasn't room to get the conventional tool in, so I'm really enjoying using this. It's the first time I've used it on this piece, so lots of firsts in this video. We'll carry on. I just need to get the nub off the bottom that's developed. That's coming off nicely, and just work the sides a bit thinner, and then I'll be happy. Yeah, that's pretty good. What I'm going to do now is sand the inside of the bowl and get that finished off with some sanding sealer and a couple of coats of Hampshire Sheen Original, I think. So I'll get that finished off and come back to you. So I've finished off the inside of the bowl with some sanding sealer, and I took it down to 240 grit and put sanding sealer on, denibbed it, and then Yorkshire gritted the inside, and then put 2 coats of Hampshire Sheen Original on it, and that's really very smooth now, very nice. I'm going to leave the inside of the bowl natural, so that's going to stay as it is. And I've got a very sharp and slightly undercut rim on here, which I've just cleaned up with the skew. So what I need to do now is bring the tailstock back up to support this end of the piece while I work on the rest of it. So that's the next step. Okay, so I've got the rough shape of the bowl. Wants a little bit of work, but not too much. And this is where the foot of the goblet's going to be. So what I'm going to do now is just mark with the thin parting tool. Just make a start there, because this is where I'm going to part it. And that will give me the start of the base. And then I'm going to work my way down the stem to the foot. I've brought up my tailstock. I've just used some rubber matting that I use on my bench inside there, and I've actually used my mandrel saver off my pen mandrel live center, because that doesn't have a point. So that's in, just lightly supporting the bowl of the goblet while I take away this wood. So first we'll just start the parting cut. Okay, that'll do. That just gives me a little edge to work to. What I need to do now is continue here, cutting and getting the stem down. Okay, I think I'm happy with that shape. I left a little bit of weight here because it's quite a large bowl. Yeah, I quite like that. Just a nice, smooth, elegant line. Relatively thin stem. I didn't want to go too thin, especially on my first one. Yeah, I quite like that. The intent is to colour the outside of this. I did consider leaving a collar top and bottom. You'll have seen that while I was turning it, but I eventually decided not to do that, just purely because it will interrupt the flow of the colour. So we'll see where that goes. I'm going to sand this up now and get a couple of coats of sanding sealer on it. What I can't do is use Yorkshire grit on the outside because I'm going to colour it. I don't want to use Yorkshire grit because obviously that'll put a wax between the wood and the colour, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to sand this by hand down to 400 grit, and then I'll get some sanding sealer on and denib that, and then I'll come back to you when I've done that. I've got 2 coats of sanding sealer on the outside of this now, and I've denibbed between each coat. It's nice and smooth. I've also just taken a little bit more away from the foot, from under the foot. And I'm now going to attempt to put some colour on this. I must say, weirdly, I'm a little bit nervous. It looks quite pretty as it is, but I was determined I was going to use colour on this, so that's what I'm going to do. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put black on the rim here and black on the outside just here, and from this end I'm going to come down through royal blue into red orange, yellow down into green, back through blue again to the black. I think that's how it's going to work. We shall find out. I've got the spirit stains here, so I'm just going to work by hand for the moment. I've not used these at all previously, so it'll be interesting to see how they go on. Actually, they go on quite well. That well may need another coat, we shall see. And one thing I haven't done is put some gloves on, which I'll do now. Gloves. Okay. So, I'll try again and try not to make such a trousers of it this time. So, around the foot, I'm not worried too much about getting it on here. So, just wiping that on here. I don't have a spray gun at the moment, so I'm having to make do with manually adding the colour. And I'll let that dry a bit and start with another colour from the top, I think, before I attempt to put any more on there. I'm going to try and not be quite so accurate as I have been sort of on the foot, although you can probably see I'm not worried if it goes over a little bit. That doesn't bother me at all. So some royal blue now. For round the top of the cup. And not quite going on as dark as I expected it to, but just a matter, I guess, of just building up the layers. I suspect with a spray gun you get a much better effect, but just let it dry a little bit and try again. Just bring the blue onto the base here. And that's actually taken a little bit better than the top of the cup. So we'll try again. Add a little more depth to the colour. And I still want it to be just a tad darker. But we'll see how we go. For now, that will do me, I think. Is that enough? Yes, I think that's enough for now. I wonder if I've perhaps got this a little too smooth. There's nothing for the paint to adhere to. But I think what I'll do is I'll get the basic idea on the goblet and then go over it again and perhaps get a bit more depth. So add a bit of orange here. A lot of people have said in their videos that when they start adding colour, it looks rather messy initially, and I have to agree with that. That red to orange is quite nice, and I don't mind that at all. I'll come back and go over the colours again, I think, but I'm sort of starting to get the effect that I want. So we'll move on to yellow. And finally green. The idea sort of being that you get a sort of sunset effect. That's the theory. So I'm going to go back to the black now, and I'm actually going to bring the black over the lip a little, I think. And then blend it with the blue. Which will give me a much darker finish. I guess how much colour you put on it depends on how much of the grain of the wood you're going to end up with. Well, there's the black, and that's better now. That's better, I like that better. So, on with the royal blue again. Putting the caps back on, not only so I don't knock them over, but so I don't mix the caps up. I want my colours to stay the colours they are. So just try and add a bit of randomness to the colours now. And that's starting to look a lot better. So back onto red. And some more orange. Just a bit deeper. Just getting a little more confident, maybe a little too confident. Time will tell. Yes, I may wash a bit more red into that. And I'll probably approach that blue again. The red and the orange aren't too bad now. I'm going to work some yellow on now. Yeah, actually that works quite well. Quite like that. And back to the green. I've got a separate bit of paper towel for each colour. Try to get the colours blending together. Yeah, I'm just going to do the blue a little bit more, and then I think I'm going to wash the whole lot with yellow. Just to blend everything together, which again is something I've seen a lot of people do. So I'll let that dry for a minute or two. Then I'm going to turn the lathe slowly and use the yellow. And we'll see how this turns out. I don't know whether I like it or not. We'll see after it's finished, won't we? So that's pretty much there, I think. Let's wash the whole thing with yellow, with the lathe just on a very slow speed. So what's that done? Well, that certainly blended everything together, no doubt about that. So I've let that dry for 10 minutes or so. It's really quite warm in here. So I'll get some Hampshire Sheen High Gloss on, and I'm expecting some of the colour to come off with this, but doesn't appear to be. A little bit. So that's starting to get a bit of a glaze on it. I'm going to leave that a few minutes and then buff that up, and I think I'll probably follow with a second coat. And that's finished up really well. Right, I'll get this partied off and I'll see you in a minute. So, finished. I managed to keep it all in one piece, which is a good thing. I haven't perhaps got the stem as thin as I could have done, but I think on the whole the piece is fairly well balanced, and I'm quite chuffed with myself really with what I've achieved. Not 100% sure whether I like it. That's not the first time I've said that about one of my pieces, but we'll see what you think, which is all that matters really. I mentioned this tool while I was turning. It's from Glen Teagle, and it's a box hollowing tool, and as I said, it has chamfered edges in 3 planes and a small cutter on the end. It's probably about 10mm, something like that. And I use this a lot on the inside of the bowl of the goblet to great effect actually. It was most helpful, especially when I didn't have much hole to go at, because there wasn't as much of the tool to actually catch. And by using it on an angle and using a pull cut, I was able to get a really nice finish that didn't really take too much sanding to finish. So thanks very much to Glen for making such a nice tool. Really enjoyed using that, and I'm looking forward to trying it on a box at some point. So on to the goblet, and here it is. I'll put some pictures up at the end, of course, but it's natural finished inside. Hopefully you can see that with the light. So it's a completely natural finish inside, and I've gone black around the rim, going through royal blue, red, orange, yellow, and then back through green to royal blue again. I think it's a nice goblet. It stands well. The symmetry is okay, I think, and for a first time I'm extremely pleased with that. As I say, I'm not overly sure about the colouring. I was tempted not to colour it, but I'd said I was going to do it, so I've had a go. Anyway, we'll see what you think. So let me know what you think about it. This is the old thing about round and brown, and I can understand if that's a viewpoint. I just wanted to experiment a little. So anyway, see what you think. I would like to say a massive thank you to all the new subscribers this week. I just can't believe the amount of subscribers that I've gained over the past few weeks. It's over 400 now, and it's quite humbling to get so many people watching the channel and the view counts going up. So thanks very, very much indeed. It truly is really nice that you're along with me on the journey. I hope that you continue to enjoy the videos, and please do comment. I do reply to every single comment, and it's always nice to see what other people think either way of what it is I'm doing. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It means an awful lot to me, and it's great to see so many people looking at the videos. I hope you found something of use in there. So until the next time, thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.